Ladies and gentlemen, welcome officially to the offseason. The Super Bowl is over. We almost had the double overtime that was leaked by the CBS affiliates that everyone thought was going to be the script written, but we did not get to double overtime because Patrick Mahomes heads down the field, wins in, I guess you could say, first overtime regulation. The 49ers lose. They are stuck at 5 Super Bowls. They have not won a Super Bowl in 30 years. And hey, 49ers fans, you want to talk about it? Aidan, how are you?
I'm good. And because I'm good, I thought today might be a good day to take the high road. And I should take the high road because as an Eagles fan, I can empathize with how the 49ers fans feel right now. They lost the Super Bowl in heartbreaking fashion. I can empathize with that. A fumble in the first half that cost you points that ended up being a one-possession game. I can empathize with that. Not being able to get a stop late against Patrick Mahomes. I can empathize with that. Your offense not getting the ball back and losing the Super Bowl. I can empathize with that. So I should take the high road today.
Well,
but I'm not, because you're such shitty people, you stupid pieces of shit. Sorry you lost. Kick rocks. Oh well. See you next year, you stupid bozos. Oh no. I'm not taking the fucking high road.
You forgot one. Slipping on slippery grass and one of your players getting hurt?
Yeah, grass problem. Again. It's that Achilles injuries are crazy because no matter what, athletes, non-athletes, we do all these crazy things in life, running, jumping, if you go to the gym, everything. And you see these athletes out there. It makes sense when they tear an ACL or something like that because their knee gets bent backwards or when they get a concussion. The snap Achilles thing is the craziest injury to me because it's just you take one false step after you do it 100 million times a year.
And sometimes it's not even a false step. It's just a step.
Just a step. Just a step, and it gives out. It makes
It's
no
like
sense to me.
It's just like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. And it could be anything. It's not even athletes. Sometimes it just happens in regular life, you know? You could be a jogger and it happens.
Yep.
You could go on walks.
Seeing that happen, man, it was, that's not the point we need to start at in this game, but it wasn't a massive influence in the game, obviously, because Mahomes, Andy Reid, the entire Chiefs offense, that's where they attacked. They knew exactly what happened once Greenlaw went down. When they showed that from the sideline view, I almost thought like at first like he was just like doing one of those like barrel rolls onto the field, like he was all hyped up, and then I was like, oh, nope, that's bad.
My only thought, and it is funny you say the barrel, he was playing like an absolute madman.
Yep.
Every tackle he was getting up, and he would take as much energy on the tackle as he would celebrating the tackle. Uh-huh. He looked like the Tasmanian devil out there. And the only thing I could think was that he got hurt before that, and then it gave out going onto the field because he was just so fired up. But again, yeah, that played a huge part in the game. Again, the injury thing, I will actually give empathy for.
Yes.
Everything else, not a chance. You're trash, just like us.
Welcome.
Welcome.
For a team that I don't want to say dominated the game, but definitely looked like the better team, especially starting out. Like the beginning, first couple drives, I was like, ooh, I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to move the ball today.
Yes.
Like at all. And then you just like, up 10-0, which again, I don't know if you knew this, but Mahomes and the Chiefs have been down at least 10 points in all 3 Super Bowls that they've won.
I'm very well aware of that fact, unfortunately. Again, I can empathize with having a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl and then losing to Patrick Mahomes. I can empathize with that. I should take the high road, but I'm not.
It's just
losers.
We physically saw the momentum shift, right? Like that punt when McKinnon like touched him, like what is he doing? And then they showed the replay. I didn't see it hit the back of the South Alabama rookie's leg live. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh. And then Valdez-Scantling immediately, like not even a run play. They're just like, okay, we're here. This was a gift. Now it's time for the kill shot. And as soon as they scored that touchdown, I was like, yep, here we go.
One play later, there were 2 moments in that game where you say to yourself, you didn't lock the key and throw it away on the cell. with Patrick Mahomes. That play for sure, a turnover in any game really. If you have a special teams turnover and give the other team the ball at the 15, going to be a disaster. So that play right there, and one play later is a touchdown. At the end of the fourth quarter, you have a 3rd and 4. The Chiefs bring pressure. It's an incomplete pass. It stops the clock. Yep. They don't convert. It leaves time for Mahomes to go down the field and tie the game to send it to overtime. And as soon as that play happened, you knew exactly what was coming. Yep. You knew he was going down the field, and I thought they were honestly going to score a touchdown the way that they were moving the ball. They got down to the 40 of the 49ers so quickly that I was thinking in the next 2 plays, depending on what happens, they're going to have shots at the end zone. And they ended up having one, but you just felt
I thought they were going to go for another one with 6 seconds left. Romo was talking about it. They still had a timeout, and they had 6 seconds. He's like, you can easily run a play in the end zone in 4 seconds. But
yeah, and they could have utilized the middle of the field in that first play with 10 seconds. They had Rashee Rice. I know he's fired up on the sideline. Kind of had a right to be. He was open in the middle of the field. I know you're probably not looking middle of the field first when you have 10 seconds left, so that makes sense. But,
speaking
here
of
I am
being
telling
fired
Patrick
up
Mahomes
on the sideline with the Chiefs, your take on Travis Kelsey?
Too far. I love Travis Kelsey.
I get it, though. Have you ever seen a game where he came off the field on 3rd downs more than yesterday?
No. Also, not only did he come off the field in those situations, a 1st and goal, and you bring him off the field, even if it is a running play, and you want the other tight ends to block, to have him out there for the threat of it all, that didn't make sense that he was off the field. So in that sense, yeah, totally agree. He should have been on the field. He should be upset that he was not on the field, and then it leads to a fumble that your backup tight end is blocking and doesn't quite seal that block on the outside. Pacheco kind of gets hit, and then next guy comes in, forces the fumble. So I get it from that sense, but man, there are about 3 people alive that could get away with shoving their coach and screaming in his face, and I think 2 of them play on the Chiefs and Mahomes and Kelsey. The other one might be Jason Kelsey, to be honest.
It was when all of it, like the screen, it's turned into a hell of a meme. The pictures on Twitter today, It's been amazing.
Great meme day.
Great, always after a big event. And our friend Joe, he tweeted last night. It's so true. He's like, when we collectively as a country are tweeting together for one event, this is when our country is at its best. And I'm like,
it's the best. It's the best. We put aside all of our differences, everything. Yeah.
Except for it was pretty funny. I did see tweets from people being like, what did you think of the halftime show? And it was like, amazing, mid. I can't believe how good it was. Terrible. It's like, how do people have such different views? Well, I mean, I think you knew which people were complaining, Aidan.
Do they look like us, but a little older?
And a little fatter?
A little fatter. a little more gray on top of their head.
I'm going pretty gray. But I'm not there yet.
All those type of people.
But yeah, back to Travis. It was, you can't touch him. Andy was so caught off guard.
Startled. Yeah.
He almost fell over.
Could you imagine
if he fell over?
If he would have fallen over. It actually, he's sad, but it would have been really funny. The effort to pick him back up. I just watched the scene in The Sopranos after Tony gets out of the hospital and he has to go. He's going to the funeral and he falls down from heat exhaustion. Everyone's around him. It would have been like that.
He looked like a feeble old man that just got scared from some homeless guy on the street in New York that just ran up and was like, "Hey."
Oh, I don't know if you saw at the end of the game. Andy Reid does fall down. He falls on Chris Jones. Chris Jones is lying on the ground, and Andy jumps on top of him. He's hitting his pads and everything, celebrating. But then he's trying to get back up, so he's just kind of pushing on Chris Jones to get himself back up. Right, classic old guy move.
Oh, what a good! And you mentioned Jason. How are two brothers so different? How is one so lovable, and the other one's up there the Viva Las Vegas thing? Just stop! You can't do.
You didn't like it?
No.
I almost
cringe.
I almost feel like it's not him at this point. It's kind of like the meme with Homer Simpson's like, do it, say the line, where he
Yeah.
probably would like to get up there and say something different aside
Yeah.
from like, you want to fight
Yeah.
for your right to
Yeah. I mean, Jim Nance walked him into it.
party. Yeah, I was going to say, it was pretty much, it was literally leading him into like, say the line, do the thing, be the funny guy.
But like
He
the
could have just
both
been
of
like,
them
hey,
was too much. The Viva Las Vegas thing and the if it was just his normal tagline, I would have been okay. The Viva Las Vegas thing, he's in those moments he's like a caricature of himself.
yeah, which, how much of that is him and how much of that is like, everyone's expecting it, so I've got to do it. I don't know. I will say so that the Viva Las Vegas thing. I don't know if that bothered me. I was like, "Whoa, buddy," because usually when guys lose their composure, we just saw it with the Ravens. They lost their composure and they lost the game. I was really worried the Chiefs were going to lose the game. The Kelsey thing where he shoves Reed, and then a few series later, Jerry Sneed smacks the shit out of the guy as the ref is running over to them. It was the most blatant unsportsmanlike penalty of all time, and I'm like, they're going to lose this game. They're not locked in.
He
So
smacked
way
the
that they
ball
lost that-
earlier too in the game that I thought was going to be a penalty.
Yep. And what's crazy in that play where he gets the penalty, he's pointing. I think it was Brandon Ayuk, and he's pointing at him because Ayuk like has his shoulder pad, so he's like pointing at him. The ref is coming over to break it up. All good, right? It'd be fine. Smacks him. It's just like you guys aren't locked in how you should be. So I was really worried about that. The video after the game, just to touch on the Kelsey brothers one more time. At the club, I think we could probably sum up our whole year as NFL fans into that 10-second clip of Travis and Taylor Swift singing Love Story to one another in the club, and then Jason being on the DJ stand in overalls and a wrestling mask, just having the time of his life. That was the NFL season in 10 seconds.
Yep. That is America, I feel like, right now.
Yeah.
That is our political parties. That is our NFL season. That is just life, the cosmic of life, those two. And I think I know where I land.
I'm Marshmallow, the DJ next to Jason Kelsey.
I love Jason Kelsey. I think he is like, I don't know. I understand he wants to come back maybe and play another year, but I think this is his greatest moment to just take over the world in terms of like
too.
he could be on any network he wants. I think his podcast is blowing up. He's just so lovable. I don't know, but it's so hard to walk away.
It is, and especially because usually you dwindle in your last few years. He hasn't. He's still in his prime. He's still the best center in the game. So it's hard to walk away when you're the best. I do, like you said, though, he's kind of in that Marshawn Lynch, Peyton Manning category where they retired and they could be at any commercial. They could be on any TV station. Marshawn Lynch was just doing quests. Remember when he was with the guy who was like does the like most dangerous things and they were just like out in the wild? That was Marshawn Lynch. He was just like they were like stabbing fish with a log.
Yep.
In the wilderness. It was just doing random stuff. That'll be Jason Kelsey. He'll just be like salmon hunting in Alaska with grizzly bears soon because he looks like one.
I will say though, those Creed Humphrey snaps looked a little low yesterday. Can he play guard and maybe have Jason finish out his career playing with his brother?
I've thought that for a long time, that the swan song may not come in Philadelphia, it may come in Kansas City, and I'm a little worried about that in the direction of our team right now. Just to get back to the game, but keep it Eagles. Fletcher Cox, hero. Just I saw a tweet and it's like, I am an Eagles fan first and I am a hater second. And when it comes to 49ers, I feel that way. And Fletcher Cox holding on to it, and then at the very end of the season, unleashing on Deebo Samuel. Like, I've got a ring and you don't.
Yep.
And everything else he said, love it. Hero.
Good night. And that's actually so. My wife, this is your first time listening, as a diehard Eagles fan, was rooting for the 49ers heavily.
Why?
She is one of those people that are Chiefsed out. She is still more upset that the Eagles lost to the Chiefs last year. And this is what I say to Aidan. She doesn't deal with 49ers fans like you and I do. She's not on Twitter. She watches the games. She enjoys the games, but she doesn't get into that. So she's like, what? We beat the 49ers last year in the playoffs. Why should I care about them? I care about the team that beat. So I get it from that perspective. She's not as heavily invested fan-wise and doesn't understand the hatred that we both have for them and that most people do. But I showed her the Fletcher Cox Instagram stuff after. I'm like, this is why you aren't rooting for the 49ers.
Well, to be honest, if all of us were more like her, we'd probably be better off. Her mindset is exactly how we should be. We beat them in the playoffs. Why do I care? We lost to the Chiefs. I care more about that. That's honestly,
she literally finds out who they're playing like the day of.
I think I'd be a lot healthier mentally if I just handled it the way she handled it and didn't receive comments online from fans.
And I will say, from my aspect, rooting it to the Cowboys, it's a happy thing. One, it keeps the 49ers at 5 Super Bowls, tied with the Cowboys now, so they're 6 club. They don't have one more than us. And Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in a long time, but the 49ers, it's been longer. So Cowboys 95, they were 94. So that's it's the little things, Aidan.
Never seen either of them win a Super Bowl in my lifetime. Feels great. Maybe I'm a curse.
The way that things are happening with the Cowboys right now, I don't think you're going to be seeing that anytime soon.
We'll see. Same with the Eagles, though. I don't know if I'm getting number 2 anytime soon, it feels like.
What did you... The second half was a lot better than the first for you, right? I mean, the first half, it was a good game. I was invested, but I was like, it felt like the first half went very fast. Like, I felt like we got to halftime quickly, but it was like, okay. And then it was like floodgates.
It was slow, monotonous, a lot of 3-and-outs, a lot of sloppy football. I think there were like 3 fumbles there, even if they were recovered by the offense. Not, regardless of your opinion on the halftime show, I honestly didn't think people were against it. I thought everybody liked it.
Everybody I talked to personally loved it. What I saw on Twitter.
Okay, gotcha. That honest to God, it gave me some juice. I was like, okay, like I'm jumping up and down, I'm bouncing around the Usher now. This feels good. And then
I tweeted you guys, I got to cancel the game. Let's just continue this concert.
I was gonna say listen, he'll be in Philadelphia. He's going on tour now. Perfect timing. Funny how that works out. But yeah, the second half was just so much better. And I still think last year's game was better, just the offensive fireworks. But like it's just the point I've been arguing for a calendar year now is let that game go to overtime. Why are we letting an official decide the game on a ticky-tack penalty? Look how fun that was down the stretch. Every play decided that game. From the 2-minute warning with the 3rd and 4 that we talked about that the 49ers did not convert, they kick the field goal, Chiefs go down the field, 49ers go down the field, Chiefs go down the field, walk it off, win. That's exciting. That's exciting stuff. Let that happen. I like the new overtime rules, and I'm sure we'll get into the fact that the 49ers did not know what those rules were. But at the same time, like, they got it right. They did well. I thought a game that was boring for about 3 quarters because of how they let it play out turned into a really good game.
It did take me a second towards the end when it was ticking down the first overtime. I was like, wait, what did they got to hurry up here. And then I was like, oh, wait, no, they don't.
I did the same thing. So I knew the new rule where you can't walk it off on the first possession.
Yep.
I thought you still got 1 quarter.
That's what I thought. And then I thought like it would be another like semi quote unquote new game for a second one.
Yeah, so like if say the Chiefs kick the field goal there with 15 seconds left in that overtime. I thought that meant that the 49ers had 15 seconds left to score, and then we did the coin toss again.
Yep.
But it's like a whole new game, which I like better.
Same. That the 49ers had no idea.
They didn't even understand the first part of the logic.
So
it was the coin toss part.
This was my question for you. So I understand, and I listened to Shanahan after. I understand their logic sort of behind it. They wanted the 3rd possession, basically.
Yeah.
So they thought that the first 2 drives, there was a good chance that the teams would, trade blows and it would be tied, and then they would get the ball with the first opportunity of quote-unquote sudden death. That was their thinking behind kicking the ball. However, by going first, you don't. It's almost like the college overtime rules. You want the ball second because you need to know what you need to do. The Chiefs getting the ball knew they were down 3, and they knew any point not within field goal range, they had 4 downs. So that's the advantage I see in going second and quote unquote kicking the ball there.
That's how I felt as well. And when they took the ball first, I was very confused. Tony Romo tried to gaslight me into believing that the 49ers took the ball because the defense was tired after being on the field in the 2-minute drill. I don't know if that holds up. I was like, why would you take the ball first there? And Tony's like, well, this makes sense because the defense might be tired. I think I got gaslit, Kevin. I don't think that was real. I'm with you. I'm sure there's statistics that back it up. Having Mahomes go second, and if you're not in scoring position, having 4 downs instead of 3 feels just statistically advantageous to you. So, and also, it works out in the worst case scenario for the 49ers where they put up a field goal. Mahomes knows he needs 7 and the game's over. You don't get that third possession. And when you're playing the best quarterback of all time, I feel like you got to have the longest view in the room. Like he can't go last.
Yep.
He can't go last.
And Chris Jones came out and said if the 49ers scored a touchdown, the Chiefs were going for 2 to win the game.
Which I loved. Could you imagine the Super Bowl coming down to that? That's fantastic. That's the only thing we're missing. I love the walk-offs, though. That's cool.
So there's only been 2 now, right? Super Bowls that have gone to overtime, and both were at Shanahan's demise.
Correct. And his players did not know the overtime rules.
And the Chiefs players said that they routinely practiced it this playoffs. Like knew what the new rules were, what the situations would be, how they would handle it. I mean,
they were working on it in August. They knew since August that they would go down the field and go for 2 in that situation. That is, I was going to say, attention to the detail is something we've brought up on this podcast quite often this year with our 2 teams. It's the different. There's only one Mahomes, but there's a lot of other things that the Chiefs do really well. That's a great example. But I'm with you.
Podcasts and talking to each other about moms and leadership,
and skipping your interview with the Eagles. But I'm with you. I that landed tails. Go ahead, Patrick. Take the ball first. We'll see what you do.
Yeah. The more I think, like I understand the logic, but you have to throw logic out the window when it's Patrick Mahomes across.
Thank you. Yep, I agree. And I will say this. So I've made this clear on this podcast a few times. The 49ers, I hate the fans, but I don't necessarily hate a lot of the aspects of the team. And I think that Brock Purdy is a really good quarterback who gets labeled a game manager.
Yep.
Last night, I feel like falls into that game manager category.
Yep.
Where, and you kind of saw it in overtime. Again, there's one Mahomes. He's not going. There's no way he could play. This is a perfect example. Jalen Hurts played the best game of his life. It was the second highest QBR in NFL history in a Super Bowl last year. He threw for over 300, rushed for 70, and had 4 touchdowns, and they lost the game. You could play amazing and still lose to Patrick Mahomes. I just felt like there are limitations to Brock Purdy that I saw last night and it's very funny. I think there are people today who are like, well, he's not a game manager. He went toe-to-toe with Mahomes. And if you think about how the game went, he didn't really.
No.
They scored 2 touchdowns, and one of them was a halfback wide receiver pass.
Yep.
They went 100 minutes without having a first down in real time when they could have been salting that game away. They came out of halftime and went 6 straight passes. Well, that led to 2 punts. And it's just like
there were moments inside the game too that casual fans, especially in the Super Bowl watching, wouldn't understand, where like Purdy called a timeout where Romo was basically like screaming. He's like, he had them in the perfect defense of what he wanted. He just didn't like the defensive front. But if he would have saw that, he could have made a quick call to keep the tight end in to block, and he would have gashed him with it. And it's little things like that.
Yes, definitely. And then it's kind of hard to fault him for this because he was getting blown up in the process. But the overthrow of the Debo, that ends the game right there if they connect on that pass. So there was just certain things where Jim Nantz signed off, and he was saying Mahomes, no doubt he's the greatest of all time. And Purdy has cemented himself not just a game manager. And I feel like I took a step back where I was saying I didn't think he was a game manager. I thought he was a really good quarterback. Now I'm saying that they were limited in what they could do, and you saw it that they were dominating that game and ended up losing. And that was his quarterback.
So here we go. What happens now? Because
Nothing.
You think because Shanahan, even after last year, what Brock Purdy he made a phone call to try and bring Brady in. We know Shanahan has been in love with Kirk Cousins and thought they were going to have Kirk Cousins in 2018, but then he went to the Vikings. Cousins is technically going to be a free agent now. But, I mean, you have Brock Purdy, who is in the MVP race, still on a rookie deal, which is a massive thing for your quarterback to be on a rookie deal. Nothing? Or do you think at least Shanahan and Lynch try and dabble to make some phone calls to see?
Here's the problem. There's two problems, really. One is a 49er-centric one, and it's Kirk Cousins would command $30 to $35 million. Yep. Is it worth the jump from a seventh-round pick salary in Brock Purdy, who's making, what, $800,000, $900,000? Less than $1 million this year, to jumping all the way to $30, $35 million to Kirk Cousins? Is that talent gap that big that you would make that call? Because then you have to start cutting other places, and it's a very talented and loaded roster. So there's that problem there. Here's the bigger problem. They can't do anything because none of us can do anything. We are in the depths of hell with Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter. It's back-to-back years where a team has orchestrated a all-star team, loaded in talent at every position, and it just didn't matter in the crux of the biggest moments of our game. In the second half of a Super Bowl, it did not matter who was on the field. All-stars, Pro Bowlers, All-Pros. Didn't matter. Patrick Mahomes was just the best player alive. Who are you getting that was going to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes and beat him that last night? There's been two people to beat him. Tom Brady, so that can't happen anymore, and Joe Burrow. Everybody else, what are we doing? We can't do anything.
I saw a tweet today. I think it was the clip from The Departed, and it said going from 2 decades of Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes, and it's Leonardo DiCaprio being like, "Why don't you just give me a bottle of whiskey and a handgun so I can blow my fucking head off?"
Great clip, by the way.
I was just like, yeah, that is where we are. And going back to the 49ers roster, right? Like you said, we have hatred for them. But if that roster was like the Bengals or somebody, we would love that team. Like Fred Warner, love him.
I do love him.
Tre'Davious Ward, the way he plays, the way the roster has been constructed, Brandon Ayuk, Jennings, the way that they've constructed it and the team that they are, if it was anybody but the 49ers or for me, the Eagles or the Commanders or the Giants, I'd be in love with that team.
The problem is, again, going back to the Mahomes thing, that's probably how you would orchestrate a roster in this day and age, to have the quarterback on a rookie deal and spend the money elsewhere. That's what gets you 2 really good wide receivers, a good tight end. We talked about this before. They traded for Christian McCaffrey, didn't give up a first and second round pick to do it. They traded for Trent Williams for pennies on the dollar because he hated the Commanders and how they were run. So they got 2 players, all pros, 2 of the best at their position for pretty much nothing. The defense is loaded. Think about who they added Javon Hargrave to that defense that already had so many big names. They added Chase Young, who finally made an impact last night and had 1.5 sacks, right? Yep. To add to a line that already had Nick Bosa. They're loaded everywhere. Doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter.
I was trying to look up because it's coming to the point too where free agents are going to go there on the cheaper.
Probably.
Some. What does Kansas City?
Yep.
Because why would you not? I mean, you see, after the game last night, I got in bed and I was watching where they have all the players walk and they're interviewing them, and I had the volume really down low because my wife was sleeping already. But it's like all these dudes now, and they're interviewing, and it says on the bottom, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time Super Bowl champion, like Karlaftis and Reed, the former safety from Houston. It's like guys want that.
Mm-hmm.
Like yes, money is great, money, but like they all make good money. Having Super Bowl champion after your name or multiple time Super Bowl champion, it's just different.
Especially if you're kind of in the middle of your career.
Yes.
You almost go to Kansas City as a stopgap.
Yep.
Where you're on your rookie contract, you go there for your 5th or 6th year, you become a Super Bowl champion, you produce in big moments, and then all of a sudden you get a payday somewhere else, and the wheels keep turning. It's the Warriors all over again. But when they got KD, and it was like, all right, well now they're getting David West for veteran minimum. Remember they were bringing in like DeMarcus Cousins on veteran minimum, who the season before was making like $40 million a year. They had Iguodala coming off the bench for pennies. It feels like it's gonna be that all over again, and I mean I don't blame people for doing that. If you're a wide receiver right now, you're like, yeah, get me there.
Like you know who I could see going there, and it's going to be Death
T. Higgins
or Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd, both. What if they got both?
Like I'm looking at who else is a free agent? Let's see, wide receiver, McCole Hardman and
Greg Ward.
Aguilar. Who?
Greg Ward.
T. Higgins, Michael Pittman.
Oh,
Can you imagine Pittman going there? Like that's oh god.
We talked about his route trees this year. Could you imagine if he was with Mahomes? He might have 2,000 yards. He'd get 18 targets a week.
Or even, I mean, think about it. Mike Evans.
Oh, yeah, because he's been in the league 10 years. He's made money. The only thing he hasn't had is a chance. Well, no, he had won a Super Bowl. What am I talking about? He won with Brady. Yeah.
But he played with Brady. Why wouldn't you want to go play with Mahomes now?
I was going to say, he could have one of the best careers of all time. Like, from a just stats and excitement point of view. He's done everything statistically. There's nothing left to prove. You're right. Go to Kansas City.
Like,
That feels like it'll happen.
yeah. I think they're going to get somebody. Like,
They're going to get better. This was the off year. This team was not good.
That's the
How did we
problem.
let this happen?
This
We're
was
in
it.
trouble.
This was the year to slay the dragon. Now it's
Technically, the Eagles did slay the Jack. When we beat them, we were 8-1. What happened?
I
This was the off year, and they won. They're going to be
and
10 times more talented.
and they went through a fucking gauntlet in the playoffs to win.
That first road game, they won 3 of them.
How about it? It's just, you're right. Where do we go from here? All of us. We are we are a collective unit now as NFL fans outside of Kansas City.
Hey, this is perfect. It is no longer birds versus boys.
No.
It is birds and boys and Giants and Commanders and 49ers and Seahawks and Jets and Bengals versus Chiefs.
Versus Chiefs.
Versus Chiefs. It is a collective alliance at this point. It is 31 versus 1. We got to do something and team up on these guys.
Can we go back to the years of the Chiefs not doing this? Like
Before that, we just lost to Tom Brady all the time.
True.
Never ends.
I can't.
Well, some of us didn't.
I can't imagine being a Bears fan.
You just got to draft Caleb Williams no matter what the scouting report says and be like, listen, this is our best shot to make up for what happened.
Did you see what's his name though this week?
Merrill Hodge saying he's nothing like.
And Merrill Hodge is usually pretty good. Yeah, the way he says it, just sitting there like nonchalantly, and he's just like he's not it.
That was concerning because you and I are both Caleb Williams guys. I was thinking about this too, being fans of Caleb Williams and not like being okay with the Chiefs winning, even though they're just going to keep winning. We just like don't hate on teams. We love the Ravens. We tried to love the Chargers so bad.
Yep.
We tried to love the Panthers. We love the Bengals. We hate our own teams more than other teams. It brought me incredible joy to watch Deebo Samuel go 3 receptions for 33 yards and the 49ers lose. I was just thinking about that. I was just like, did
you see him on the sideline at the end of the game doing like the duck lips? He was just like,
no, I wish.
He was just sitting there like, all right, well, wow, I need to shave.
Brings me joy.
If you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, it was it was a double-edged sword. Like I said to you prior to recording, like, okay, the Chiefs won again. Cool. Yeah, whatever. AFC, we know they're already good. the 49ers winning a Super Bowl after embarrassing my team this year and embarrassingly ending our season the last 2 years. I didn't want that, but now, yeah, it's so true thinking about it on the other end. Like, yeah, okay, the Chiefs won, yeah, they're good, but now it's like, yeah, what do we do now?
What do we do, and how do we build our team? But you could say, how do we build our team to beat them? I don't have the. I feel like we did last year. Our team was unreal. we formed the monster. It was literally the plot to Space Jam. Yeah. We had the Monstars, and Michael Jordan just got a million buckets against us and let it come back and won anyways. Just stretched out from half court. That was Mahomes. There's nothing we could do. I'm just along for the ride.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how far up you are. Like. Every one of his Super Bowls down at least 10. Remember the Houston Texans game? They were down 21.
24. It was
24,
24 to nothing.
Yeah.
What do we do, Kevin? Why do we have this podcast? We should just interview Chiefs people and just be like, so what do you guys do for fun?
Go to parades?
Go to parades. What do you think that Taylor will sing songs and do the Eras tour at the parade?
Oh God. We just hope for good halftime shows, I guess.
It was very noticeable.
Commercial?
Last night. Commercials.
Favorite commercial?
Ooh, wow, favorite commercial.
I have 3 that I enjoy.
Okay, you say yours first because I got to think about mine.
The Dunkin' Donuts commercial with Ben Affleck and Brady and J-Lo and who else was in it? Matt Damon. Loved those. The Michael Cera commercial for CeraVe.
Yes.
The lotion commercial. And Christopher Walken.
I really like the Walken one a lot. That was really good.
What do you say you do here?
Those were so good. There's a few. I'm definitely missing a few because there were a few that made me laugh. The one I thought I was like, oh, you hit the mark. Like that was really nice. Was the kid, I believe it was the NFL international pool expanding and the little kid in Ghana. And I thought that conversation with the coach over there and talking to the kid and him poking him and saying, just making sure you're real. I thought that was cute. I really liked that commercial a lot. So that was like a heartfelt one. I think my favorite one had to be the one where I found out that Jesus has a foot fetish. So that probably would take the cake for me. As soon as that one started, I was like, I know this is going to be some weird religious thing. Yep. And I was like, sure enough, we spent $14 million on washing feet.
Who's paying for that?
Jesus.
Baller. He's got a lot of money.
Now, I do, that Duncan one was really good. The Walken one was really good. I just thought it was really heartfelt. I thought the heartfelt was the way to go. I like the Budweiser one with the going through the snowstorm and the dogs lead the Clydesdales in. That's always a classic. They always get your a smile on your face with the Budweiser one. That's really cool.
That other, I think it was a Kia one, got me where like the little girl was ice skating, and then like she looked and the seat wasn't open, and me as a girl dad, I thought it was going to be like her mom or something, but then I guess it was her grandfather, and he set up the ice ring outside.
And he writes the 10 on the glass. That was a really nice one too.
Yep, that got me. You know what didn't get me? Cowboys not in the Super Bowl. I don't even want to talk about them today. We can talk about the Cowboys and Eagles later this week because I just like I still need time. Like Howard, it's just I have that. Like that's how I feel about them right now.
You know how mad these teams have to make us that like we just watched that game. We're like, and another thing about how much I hate the Cowboys. Like I can't even talk about how mad they make me.
Every single '90s player is just destroying the team and the organization. Micah Parsons is literally holding up. He is like has the biggest podcast set up at Radio Row possible, and just interviewing Jordan Love. He's like, yeah. How'd you guys beat us? And he's like, your linebackers suck. You had a DB playing linebacker, and I thought my receivers could beat up on your DBs. And then you hear Micah go, for sure. Like what? Like come on, man. Like what? Like to stop. And then he's interviewing CeeDee Lamb about CeeDee's mom trashing Dak. And then we have, we're set. We're hiring Mike Zimmer, and now it's like, oh no, they're calling Rex Ryan again. It's like we just can't do anything normal. Like it's a circus. No. It is a fucking circus. That's all they are. They're not a football team. They are Ringling Brothers and Joneses, and that's what they are.
I get the feeling that's probably not the last time we hear this rant this offseason.
Oh, they're all in. They're all in. Here we go. Go get Mike Evans, Patrick Queen's out there, Michael Pittman, and we're gonna fucking sign me.
Me.
Like
You can get Kadarius Toney when he becomes a free agent this offseason.
oh God. Zach Martin's about to retire. Tyron's not going to come back, and it's just like we're going to pay Dak $60 million and keep on moving.
There's a real Frank the Tank vibe to you right now, with him and the Mets. It's you and the Cowboys. Everything that's wrong in the world starts and ends with the Jones family.
And then I saw I saw the Hassan Reddick thing. Like, well, we can talk about that. But who knows? Knowing Howie, he'll get a first round pick for him. But and then I saw the other one. They're like, James Bradbury has been given permission to seek a trade. And I could see you being like, damn,
that happened.
Shucks. I saw it. I think I saw a tweet.
I missed that. But is it limited to the NFL, or can you seek permission with the CFL teams as well? Or I know the USFL is starting soon. Are they allowed to seek permission there too? Because I don't know otherwise.
I thought I saw that. Hold on.
I'll do one quick Eagles thing while you find it, and I hope they don't trade Hassan Reddick. And you mentioned, like, even if they got a first round pick, I mentioned this. I did a whole video on this yesterday, so subscribe to our YouTube if you want to see that. But it's the mystery box thing.
Mm-hmm.
You could either have Hassan Reddick or the mystery box, and that would be a first round pick. Like, it could be anything. It could even be Hassan Reddick. That's all it is. It's the mystery box where it's like you could have a boat or the mystery box, and it's like, well, it could be anything in the mystery box. It could even be a boat. Why are we trading him? I don't get it, but we'll see. Long way to go. There's been guys who have requested trades and ended up back with the team.
Darius Slay last year.
Darius Slay, Fletcher Cox the year before. We'll get there.
I think there is going to be major turnover on both of our rosters, though.
100%. It'll be a great offseason. We've talked about it, but I feel like every offseason from here on out is just how do we end the dynasty?
Yep.
So we'll see if anyone can come close to doing that.
Yep. I feel like we are in Game of Thrones, and they are the Night Walkers. Or whatever they were called.
I never saw Game of Thrones.
Okay.
But I respect your references because I feel like that was good.
And I am
outside of what I know about the show.
I'm close, Aidan. I think we only have like 6 episodes left or something on Succession. So.
Oh, you passed me. I didn't finish the last season.
Oh, I thought you've watched it all.
First 3 seasons.
We are into the 4th.
True Detective started, and now I'm sidetracked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I gotta get back on it, but True Detective's gotta end first.
Well, now we have nothing to worry about in terms of football except for the draft. Saturdays and Sundays are wide open. Apparently, my soon-to-be 2-year-old daughter, we're signing her up for soccer on Saturdays or Sundays. So,
question.
2-year-olds
run.
Oh, she runs.
Like well, though? Like well,
oh,
could she kick a soccer ball?
I will show you videos of her kicking a soccer ball in my house. It's wild.
Okay.
But apparently, we know a friend that is taking this class, and she's like, it's pretty much singing and dancing and then kicking a ball around.
Okay.
So,
hey, she could be the next big field goal kicker in the NFL.
I've already have her. I said, what are we going to do at soccer? And she goes, dominate. I'm like, that's right.
Love it.
Yep. So, but my calendar's wide open. Saturday. Yep. She's like, should we do the Saturday class, the Sunday class? I'm like, I don't care. Football's over.
We got nothing to do till September. Nothing.
Except baseball. But tell the people what we do have to do in terms of combine, draft, off-season content. Aidan.
I was going to say, our season kind of starts right now. It's draft season. It's free agency. This is all the stuff that really we love to hit home. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube, closing in on 1,000, which will be great. All of our content goes there. All the full episodes, YouTube shorts, all the live reactions that we do there in one place. And again, a ton of different aspects of draft coverage, whether it be mock draft, player breakdowns, or just overall draft talk between the two of us. We'll have it all there. All of our episodes can be found anywhere you subscribe to podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts as well. On Instagram and TikTok, we post all of our clips. There's a certain clip where we have 732 comments from 49ers fans talking about all of the Eagles and 49ers related stuff. And it's awfully silent today. Why are there no 49ers fans on our Instagram page? Where did you guys go? Maybe I will go through the comments and check in and make sure everyone's doing well since I'm taking the high road. So that's where you can find us. All of those are at Birds vs. Boys Pod.
Like Aidan said, our season really starts now because you can tell your friends, tell your family. I know the name says Birds vs. Boys, but we really are now a full podcast for all NFL fans for how we can figure out how to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. We cover the entire NFL from draft to Super Bowl and everything in between. And we just ended the Super Bowl, and now we are on to the draft, which Aidan and I absolutely love. You will see with the amount of content, the quality of the content, and the in-depth analysis that we try and put in, how much we absolutely love draft talk. Mock draft, mock draft, mock draft, mock draft, mock draft will be coming all offseason. So enjoy it. Thank you for watching. The season is over.
We're all 0-0 again. Welcome to the support group for Kansas City.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upset alert. Upset alert.
I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.